This report brought to you by the Richmond Club, where investors and high-growth companies meet.
Teneriba is a high sulfidation porphyry system. Hi, I'm Tom Atkins, President and CEO of Mammoth Resources, symbol MTH on the TSX Venture Exchange, triple MRF on the OTC. Mammoth offers investors a low entry cost to exponential share price appreciation through drill success. What's unique about Mammoth is where other companies may be trading at multiples to the investment in their properties, Mammoth market value is less than what's been spent on its flagship Teneriba property in successful prior exploration activities, including some very impressive gold, silver, and copper drill intersections over 4 kilometers of a currently identified 6-kilometer trend. There's no premium built into the share price for all the potential that still exists to expand on past successes in a prolific mining district where we're surrounded by multi-million ounce gold-silver deposits owned by multi-billion-dollar companies. Let's commence the slideshow. Mammoth owns 100% of the large 13 by 4 kilometer Teneriba gold-silver with copper early to mid-stage exploration project in the prolific Sierra Madre precious metal belt of Mexico. There's a large 6-kilometer by 3-kilometer surface gold footprint identified by over 3,000 surface samples, which remains open to expansion. $5.5 million has been spent on Teneriba to date, including 26 drill holes, sporadically testing 4 kilometers of this mineralized trend, with 18 of these holes intersecting potential economic gold-silver mineralization over tens of meters. A couple of examples: almost 25 meters grading 4 gram per ton gold, and almost 127 meters, that's over 400 feet, grading 0.52 gram per ton gold. Mineralization would appear to be amenable to low-cost open pit mining, the abundance of surface mineralization, and heap leach processing. Gold occurs as free gold. The project had been optioned by Centerra Gold, a $3.5 billion market cap company. They wouldn't even have looked at a project if they didn't believe it had the potential to host in excess of 1.5 million ounces. They were to spend US $10 million during a 70% interest. September of last year, 6 months ago, they announced they were pulling out of Mexico, returning 100% of Teneriba to Mammoth, after having spent $1.2 million over the previous 21 months. They had submitted a permit for 139 drill holes, which we subsequently received approval for, and they had 2 contractors bidding on the drill program. Mammoth is led by an experienced management team, with just amongst the top 4 of us having over 100 years of combined industry experience. Myself, the CEO, I have over 35 years experience. I was an exploration geologist, the earliest grassroots project generation all the way up to production, also an MBA, a corporate investment banker, and past senior executive of a number of successful large cap exploration, development, and production companies. Mammoth has about 47 million shares outstanding. We're held 17% by institutions, US Global, Swiss 3000, and Commodity Discovery Fund. 15% by insiders, I myself am a 9% shareholder, and 30% by close associates. You see in the graph our share price performance over the past year. Recent bid-ask depth shows that only about $50,000 of buying would move the share price as much as 40%. Our last financing was done in January of this year, almost $700,000 at 10 cents a share. And the recent market cap would value the company at about $4.7 million, again below the $5.5 million that's been spent on Teneriba. Location of Teneriba within this prolific Sierra Madre precious metal belt. You can see how we're surrounded by these numerous multi-million ounce deposits owned by multi-billion dollar companies. We can drive to Teneriba from the north, south, east, west. In fact, there's a commercial fixed-wing flight where we can land within a half an hour of our field camp on a gravel landing strip in a small village. Moving to the next slide, shows the distribution of the 4 concessions that comprise our 5,333 hectares, again about 13 kilometers by 4 kilometers. In the lower part of the screen, you can see where the fixed-wing landing strip is, and then the road up to our field camp, again about a 30-minute drive beyond that, and we're in the middle of the property. Teneriba is a high sulfidation porphyry system. Similar systems in the Sierra Madre, our neighbors, Alamos Gold's Mulattoes project, which is 6.2 million ounces. Agnico Eagle's La India, which is 2.5 million ounces. And Goldcorp, now Newmont's, depleted now, El Sazel, which was 1.8 million ounces. Interesting thing about these high sulfidation porphyry systems is the roots of the system are a porphyry copper with gold or gold with copper. And as you go from the eastern end of the 6-kilometer trend to the west end of it, you drop down about 600 to 700 meters in elevation. We get deeper into the system. Lo and behold, drill hole in that area, we encountered 7.2 meters grading almost 3.6% copper. So indeed, all aspects of this model hold together. So in this slide, we show the color contouring of 2,600 soil geochemical samples over about a 5-kilometer by 3-kilometer trend. Soil geochemical, it's the amount of gold that exists in soil, dirt. You can see this color contouring. So anything in this kind of orange level is from 0.1 to 0.2 gram per ton gold. Interesting about that grade, right now at about $1,500 an ounce gold, companies are modeling resources on about a 0.2 gram per ton cutoff. So we're getting that grade in dirt over this large 5 by 3 kilometer area. This shows the location and results of the first phase of drilling ever done on the property in 2008 by a predecessor. They announced the results in June of 2008. Of course, the global financial crisis came in the fall, and they had to relinquish the property to the property owners. We started adoption of the property in 2012, and subsequently we've earned 100% interest. Let's look at some of their results. And this is just over about 3/4 of a kilometer of this 6-kilometer trend. And this is only 6 of 10 of the 15 in that program, 10 of which were potentially economical. So look at, there's almost 2 meters of almost 46 gram per ton gold. Below that, 11.5 meters of 2.25. Below that, highlighted in red, 34 meters of just over a gram. 34, that's 100 feet of just over a gram grade. And then below that, 66 meters, over 200 feet of about 0.5 gram per ton gold. All of these intervals are all potentially economical in an open pit heap leach mine. And this is in the first drilling ever done in just a small portion, about 3/4 of a kilometer of this 6 to 7 kilometer trend. I talked about free gold and how it would potentially be amenable to open pit heap leach mining. Here, we sampled some of that historic core. We sampled it at different grades, different intervals, different core holes, and did some microscope work, and you can see in these images how gold occurs as free gold, and it's a result of it occurring as this free gold that makes it amenable to potential low-cost heap leach processing. So when we arrived on the property, we did an extensive mapping and sampling program. We took over 600 chip samples. So these are about 2-meter long chip samples. Occasional grab sample if we were near some old artisanal working, but basically 2-meter long chip samples. And you can see the distribution. Now in this case, each grid is 2 kilometers. So we're covering about a 7 to 8 kilometer trend of mineralization. The area Candaritos, which is in the right hand of this image, of 146 samples that we sampled in this area, which is about 1.5 kilometers by about 3/4 of a kilometer, 74% of them graded better than 0.3 gram per ton gold. And we didn't announce anything below 0.3 gram per ton gold because at that time, with gold at about $1,200 an ounce, that was the cutoff grade for an economic open pit heap leach mine. 74% of them graded better than that grade, and the average grade was about 1.56 gram per ton gold just in this area. And just in that area alone, there would be the potential to host over 1 million ounces of gold. So we further enhanced our confidence. Just beyond 2-meter chip samples, we actually went to the largest outcrops we had over about 6 kilometers of the trend, the largest outcrops. And we took the longest continual cut channels into the rock, basically a horizontal drill core. And you can see the distribution again in this image, superimposed over where we had these chip samples. And here's the results of these lengthy channels. So in total, we had about 151 meters. We had a couple that didn't come out so great, but of the others, 129 meters of samples. And you can see some of the highlights: 15.5 meters of over a gram, 7 meters of 1.36, 13.5 meters of 1.55. Anyway, you can see these. Except for those 2 weaker ones, we got 129 meters in total, grading about 0.8 gram per ton gold, a very robust grade for an open pit heap leach mine. Going further, okay, so we got all this surface mineralization. The next step was to do some geophysics. Now look we only covered about 40% of the trend with geophysics. And the reason we did that was we didn't know if geophysics was going to be an effective tool. So we covered about 40% of the project area of this trend with geophysics, including going over where it had been previously drilled. Because if they had good results in their drilling and we had good features in the geophysics, that would help to establish that yes, in fact, the geophysics may be an effective tool. And so when we can see this, you can see zone A, zone B, zone C, a pretty good trend going across the east-west in the southern part of the area surveyed, and then a really large area in this overall Zone C area, Canaditos. And that what's interesting is between Zone A and Zone B, there's a 1.2 kilometer gap. In Zone A, we only did 3 lines at 100 meter spacing. We actually only covered 200 meters of the trend. So there's a good, from Zone B westward past Zone A, there's a good 2 kilometers that hasn't been surveyed. Anyway, based on this, our surface results, we targeted some drill holes and we went and did the first drilling that Mammoth did on the program, our 2018 Phase 2 diamond drilling. So you can see the distribution of 12 drill holes. Now the 2 holes, 12 and 13, we needed to spend some money on that northern concession, so we weren't really targeting anything in specifically, but you can see among the other 11 drill holes their distribution. So 4 in Moreno, 4 in the central Masopari area, and then 3 in the Canaditos area. 8 of these 11 holes intersected potentially economic grades of mineralization in the first drilling we'd ever done, testing our geophysics. So here you see in Moreno, hole 1, 30 meters of almost 0.8 gram per ton gold. There's the copper interval in 03, 7.2 meters of 3.6% copper. Masopari area, this is the central area. We did some step outs on the historic drilling. Every one of those holes, almost from surface down to 100 meters, mineralization, including 23.5 meters grading 1.32 gram per ton gold. Canaditos, the area to the east, there's that 127 meter, over 400 feet, grading 0.52 gram per ton gold, of which there were 25 meters grading 1.2 gram per ton gold. This is what attracted Centerra Gold. And again, Centerra Gold would have had no interest in this project had they'd not seen the potential for at least 1.5 million ounces of gold, being a $3.5 billion market cap company. Next steps, our 2021 exploration program. We've completed this highly qualified, highly experienced, independent pair of PhD geologists reviewing all historic data, time at the project, and they concluded that Teneriba is a high quality, high sulfidation project analogous to our multi-million ounce neighbors with potential to host an economic deposit. This report is posted on our website. As we move into the second quarter, we'll be completing the infill geophysics over the 60% of the mineralized area of the project not yet covered. And this isn't just doing geophysics to see what we might see. We've already had great results from drilling these geophysical anomalies. That's what attracted Centerra. We're extending the survey to the 60% of the trend not yet covered. And we've just begun to show compelling drill target extensions along the same trend where we had the previous results. And we're in discussions with various parties on financing an initial 50-hole drill program to test these targets. And the aim of defining a maiden gold or silver resource, perhaps with copper, mineral resource at Teneriba. So, in summary, Mammoth offers investors a low entry cost to exponential share price appreciation through drill success. And what's unique about Mammoth is where other exploration companies are trading at multiples to the investment in the property, Mammoth's market value is less than what's been spent on its flagship Teneriba property in successful prior exploration activities, including some very impressive gold, silver, and copper drill intersections, over 4 kilometers of a currently identified 6-kilometer trend. There is no premium built in this share price for all the potential that still exists to expand on the past successes in a prolific mining district where we're surrounded by multi-million ounce deposits owned by multi-million dollar companies. Thanks so much for your interest, and I hope you'll have a close look at Mammoth. Have a good day. Bye now.
If you enjoyed this video, please let us know. You've been watching the Richmond Club Report. If you've just come across this channel, please feel free to like and subscribe. I'm sure you'll find a lot of interesting and lucrative investment and trading ideas around here. We'll see you again soon on the next video. Cheers, guys. Have an amazing and profitable day.